Okay, YouTube, before I get to something that's actually interesting like firearms and tools, I built myself another gong stand for shooting, so that's neat. Before I get to that, I'll just go past this again. Today is, actually, I don't know the date. I think it's the 4th of April, whatever it is, it's a Friday. My equation here, I've decided instead of calling it the SWAG equation, which means scientific wild guess, I've decided to call it the grace equation because it can only be God's grace that I'm coming this close. So, by the way, all this stuff's already up. You know, I put it up on other places on the internet, so I'm not cheating. You can go back and look at this stuff and see that I'm not doing anything new. I'm not predicting stuff in advance. That's, as I said before, that's not prediction, that's narration. I mean, predicting stuff retroactively. Anyway, here's what I predicted for today. Oh, there goes my eraser. That's a mess. Here's what I predicted for today. And here's the actual figure for today. And here's how far off I am. Okay? This is 1.9% lower than this, the actual total from the Johns Hopkins website. So if I was smug yesterday, I'm insufferably smug today. Really happy about this. And people may ask, why aren't the experts doing this? Well, I'm sure they are. I'm sure, I mean, they've got computers, they got much better. I'm not a mathematician. I mean, I got a math minor and a physics degree, but I forgot 98% of it. They got people that know a billion times as much as I do. Surely they must know what's going on. Anyway, I don't know. I don't understand what's happening. It's very weird. What I always say is when people behave irrationally, when something really crazy happens in the natural world, you should always look for a supernatural explanation. And I guess that's the answer. People are just deluded supernaturally. And that's the only explanation for this. That's the only way you can believe in the panic and the dire predictions they're putting out now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future. I'm wondering when the curve, they always say they want to flatten out the curve, you know, the hump-shaped graph of the infection over time. They want to make that nice and smooth so we don't clutter our hospitals. It's funny, they don't worry about that with the flu, which has hundreds of times as many cases. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because sooner or later, the people that are easy to infect, they're all going to be infected. And after that, this thing's going to drop off, and the weather's going to get warm, and researchers say that's going to kill it. So sooner or later, the infection rate, right now, the infection rate is still going up because it's an exponential function, more or less. And it's going to have to eventually taper off and come down. It's not going to kill all of us. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, if the easy people to infect have all been infected, then it's going to be harder and harder for this thing to find victims. Let's be honest, the dirty people are going to get infected first. They're going to be the ones, the people that share glasses, the people that share plates. You know, the people who, when their baby or their toddler gets something on his face, they spit on his face and they rub it off with spit. The people who pick up dog poop in their living room with their bare hands and then wipe their hands with a paper towel and think they're done. Those are the people that are going to die from coronavirus. I shouldn't say die. Those are the people that are going to get infected with coronavirus, you know, most easily. So people that have been using this stuff since before this thing began, people who don't share plates, people who have some common sense about filth, they're going to be harder to nail, you know. And also people like me who are hermits. Hermits are not going to do very badly in this epidemic. So it's going to be interesting, but it's going to have to flatten off pretty soon because the entire world has been exposed to this thing. So it's not like there's another planet out there where this thing can get a foothold and have another big jump. It's everywhere. In other news, I still have my germ-x, and this is nearly full. It's only been open once or twice. I've increased the price to $7,000 because this stuff, toilet paper is available here now. If you get up and you go to the grocery store before noon, you can get toilet paper where I live. So you can probably get paper towels. You can find bleach if you look around. You can get alcohol at the hardware store. But this stuff, no, you're not going to get that. So I feel like $7,000 is a reasonable price. This ought to keep you going for 5 to 7 days. And not many people know this, but it also cures piles if it's applied correctly. So jump on that. All right, I'm going to cut this off and go on to something that's actually interesting. All right, YouTubers, things are going really well. On the right-hand side, you got my old targets, which are, what, 5 days old or something. On the left, you got my new targets. And in the middle, you got my target stand, somewhere laying back there, my paper target stand. And behind that, on the ground,
because I wasn't able to mount it in this dry soil, is my little cheap $13.22 target from Gander Outdoors. And I'm getting ready to shoot. Unfortunately, there's kind of an issue. These cattle don't have any notion of social distancing. So I'm gonna have to see what I can do to move them around. But after that, I'm gonna try this thing out. Well, I didn't do all that hot. I really have to adjust the sights on the 22 and the pistol and the Marlin 60. I haven't done that yet, so I'm kind of tracking the bullets to see, to see where they go, and that doesn't really add up to great shooting. But still, I'm really happy with it. I mean, they ring nice, and they're holding up well, and you can see where the bullets land. So I am really, really pleased. I couldn't be happier with these things. So I figure once I get these set up and I get my bottle stand set up, which ought to be much easier to put together. I mean, will be. I can do that in an hour. I'll be all set, and Hickok 45 will just have to watch his back. So hope you enjoyed this.